Welcome to my very first writing vlog. I am going to write a book with zero experience. So first, a little backstory before we get into the writing part. I have no background in writing. I don't have a degree in writing. I've never written a book or even so much as like a magazine article or anything. The most I've ever written is like an essay in college. So given that, I know you're probably like, how in the world did you decide to write a book? To make a really long story short, I picked up reading about a year and a half ago, absolutely fell in love with reading, and I really enjoyed the creativity and the imagination that I was experiencing while reading. Several months after starting reading, I thought to myself, why don't I write a book? It was a thought that had just popped in my head. It sounded fun, it sounded exciting. At the time, I had started kind of making up little stories in my head, and I thought to myself, what if I just write those stories? It's not something I just thought about yesterday. I've been actively thinking about writing a book for about a year. I almost got the opportunity to start last year, but I got sidetracked. And anyway, so life has led me to reevaluating some things and deciding to start my book now. And you also might be wondering what kind of book I'm going to write. My desire is to write a fantasy book. I'm not going to share any further details because I do want my book to be a surprise. I hate spoilers, and I'm sure you do too, and I don't want to give any. The purpose of today's video is to world build and plot. I had a brainstorming session, actually quite a few brainstorming sessions last week, to think about possible book ideas or things I want to investigate in a book, such as a type of character or a type of magic, or even just an element that I would want in the book. And I came up with a lot of good things, and I actually found one phrase that I liked a lot, and I think that's what I'm going to start my book with, is this phrase. I know in a previous video I said I had started plotting a book about a year ago when I had decided to write a book, and oddly enough, when I wrote this phrase out and kind of looked at all the ideas I had before me, I just felt more drawn to this new idea I had, which is totally fine. Today I want to focus on four main things. So first, I want to focus on what is the magic system. The second is going to be who are some of the main characters. I want to also consider the beginning and ending of my story. And then the last thing I want to work on is the general plot. So those four things are what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to put all of this in an Excel spreadsheet. I want to keep all my thoughts recorded, and I also want it recorded so that if I need to refer to something in the future, I can. And I'm also going to open a Word document just to write down any more brainstorming ideas that I have specific for this book. And that's the plan for today. I've finished my plotting and world building for the day. I spent about an hour and a half working on it. I did take some breaks, of course. And what I did was try to flesh out the characters quite a bit, and I worked really hard on the magic system. I have a good idea about where I want to start the book, not necessarily where I want to end the book. So that needs work. And I really didn't work on the plot at all. I just didn't have time, and I was really going with the magic system, so that's what I really wanted to focus on. So that's it for tonight. I've got other things I need to do, and I will pick this back up tomorrow. Good morning. I'm taking a little break from world building and plotting. It is the next day, but I'm not going to jump into my book yet. I'm currently editing a video for YouTube, and this is actually the first video where I kind of soft launch my book, and that's why I'm not world building right now, because I have to edit this video. I'm at least going to get it started. I've already shot all the content. I just need to get started editing, and I have done zero work on that so far, and my goal is to get it out by the end of the week. I would like to be more consistent in doing one video a week. So my plan today is to edit this video, start editing it, and then because it's the weekend, I do have plans for lunch. And so I will be going out for lunch. And then when I come back, whatever time that may be, then I will pretty much dedicate the rest of the afternoon to my book. I want to create some really solid time for me to work on it. I'm going to try some different techniques today, and I'll talk about that, when I start doing the world building part of it. And yeah, I keep rambling because editing is my least favorite part of making YouTube videos. It's so long, and you sit here staring at a computer screen. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Well, if you're going to write a book, you're going to stare at a computer screen. That is absolutely true. So yes, writing a book may be a little bit of a struggle in that regard. I'm going to work on some things, hopefully in the future, that will alleviate some of that distaste towards staring at a computer. Time for editing. It's time for some more world building. Though I'm so excited to build my world for my fantasy book, I'll be honest, I'm not feeling very creative right now. I feel like I have a lot of mental blocks. I've got a lot of stuff going on personally, so it's just like jumbled around in my head, and it's really hard for me to keep focus. But this is kind of the only time I have today to really work on this, because later tonight I have to get ready for the week. So what I'm gonna try today is a little bit different than what I did yesterday, because like I said, yesterday I also had some trouble focusing. I think it's because I was staring at a computer screen and I was just typing things that came into my head and staring at the words on the page. And I'm going to try writing on a blank piece of paper. So I've got this steno notebook, and I'm going to write ideas, and I'm going to do like little bubble plots and see if that can help me kind of come up with ideas better. I find that when I do things by hand, I am a little more engaged. I also, when I'm writing a phrase or a word, that gives me more time to think. When you type, you can type out that sentence in 2 seconds. But this, it takes a little longer, and so it helps me to focus a little bit more. So I'm hopeful that by writing things out by hand and then also doing like a picture representation in a sense, that will help me focus a little more and maybe make some more progress in my world building. So I'm done with my brainstorming session for world building. I focused on world building for this because that's just where my mind went. It actually went pretty well. As soon as I started scribbling things down, I really started to get in a flow and had some good ideas pop up. Of course, my world building is not complete. I will still have many sessions to go before I feel comfortable enough to write. I want to show you a little bit of what I did. So this here is not, there's nothing on here related to my book. This is just for illustrative purposes only. So what I do is I write like a little thought bubble, and then I just write random things off to the side that I think about pertaining to that thing. So it could be politics, it could be, I don't even know what that says. That says society. And then I can't read this backwards. So I basically write my bubble and write any random thoughts I have related to it off to the side. And then I can even put random thoughts off to the side for these. I'm also writing down phrases or things that come to mind just randomly. But it's really helping me to gather my thoughts. Whereas before I was just like making lists, and this is more kind of all my thoughts pulling down into one big thing, or branching out into many things, if you want to look at it that way. I'm really excited about the work I did today. I thought I did a really good job, and I'm proud of myself. And that's it for now. I may do a little bit more tonight if I have time, but we'll see. I am back for one more world building session this weekend. I decided to go ahead and do one tonight, and I have 2 main purposes for the brainstorming session tonight. The first is to try and do it at night. So the last 2 days that I've done brainstorming, it's always been in the afternoon. The afternoon is usually when I'm the most tired. This could be during the workday or anything like that. I tend to be quite productive first thing in the morning, and then I tend to be more productive later at night. So I want to try and see how my mind processes and what I can come up with while thinking at night. And then also I'm going to try a different technique for my world building and plot brainstorming sessions, and that is going to be pacing. I always pace. When I have to like figure out what I'm going to say in like maybe a presentation or something, I am always pacing, and it helps me to process my thoughts. I don't know why it is. That's just the way it is. But I'm going to pace and try and brainstorm at the same time and see if that is any more productive than what I've done the last few days. This was incredible. I have only been doing this for about 15 minutes, and I have come up with so many great ideas. There has been kind of this, since I started doing this brainstorming session, kind of this, I don't know, you could call it like a plot hole, but it's not really a plot hole, magic hole perhaps. I literally just thought of a solution. I don't know if this is the solution I'm going to go with, but it's a good place to start, and it's a good idea. It's either the time of night or what I'm doing. It's probably both, but I'm just really excited that I made a lot of progress in the small amount of time. I'm going to do this for a little while longer because I do have some more free time tonight, and I will see you in the next video.